The Last FIREHAWK. The Secret Maze. Written by Katrina Charman. Introduction. Tag, a small barn owl, and his friend Skyla, a squirrel, and Blaze, a firehawk, have journeyed through the Cloud Kingdom. They traveled with the help of Claw, who says he is the twin brother of the evil vulture named Thorn. Together they opened a portal using the magical Ember Stone and 3 golden feathers. The portal took them to the land of the Firehawks, where Blaze was finally reunited with her mother, Talia, and the other Firehawks. Now that Blaze has found her home, Tag and Skyla must prepare to say goodbye to their friend. But it's not going to be easy for them to return home. The golden feathers were lost in the Cloud Kingdom, and without another powerful magical object, Tag, Skyla, and Claw are unable to make a portal home to Peridea. They will have to work together to find a new magical object in the land of the Firehawks. Otherwise, these friends may never see their home again. The adventure continues. Chapter 1. A Way Home. Tag, Skyla, Blaze, Claw, and Talia stood inside the Firehawks' golden temple. The temple was beautiful. It had high ceilings, shiny golden pillars, and fountains that sparkled with rainbow-colored water. "There must be a way we can go home," Skyla said, then sighed. Her bushy tail flicked back and forth. "The land of the Firehawks is amazing, but I want to go back to Peridea." Tag nodded sadly. "But how? We lost the golden feathers. And the Ember Stone alone is not strong enough to open a portal." He remembered how they had used the golden feathers and the Ember Stone together to open portals to the Cloud Kingdom and to the land of the Firehawks. "We need to find a powerful magical object to open a portal," Blaze said. "This land is full of magic," Claw said. "There must be one here somewhere." Tag sighed. "Gray would know what to do," he said. He wished the leader of the Owls of Valor was there with them. Or he could find the answer in one of his books. "If it's books you want, I can help," Talia said. "Follow me." The friends followed Talia along a hallway until they reached a small door. It was carved out of the stone wall. Talia ducked down and walked through it. Tag followed, and his feathers brushed the top of the door. They entered another hallway that looked like a tunnel. It was dark, damp, and cold, and Talia's and Blaze's heads almost touched the ceiling. Torches hung from the wall. Talia ruffled her feathers, and they lit up one by one, lighting the way. They walked until the path broke into 2 directions. One went to the right, and one went to the left. Talia chose the left. "What is down the other path?" Claw asked as they followed her down the tunnel. "That path is closed," Talia replied. "No one can go down there." "Why?" Claw asked. "It is said to hold great danger," Talia replied. The tunnel widened as they walked, until... "Wow!" Blaze gasped. Tag's beak hung open in surprise. They were in a gigantic room, full of shelves stacked with books. It was just like Gray's library but much bigger. "It's wonderful," Skyla said. Talia nodded. "These books contain all of our Firehawk history. It could be a good place to search for clues about magical objects." Then she left the friends alone. Tag gazed around at the thousands of books and scrolls. He felt a bit dizzy. It could take years to search through all these books, he thought. How would they ever find what they were looking for? Chapter 2. The Library. The 4 friends spent all day in the library. Tag, Blaze, and Claw searched through the higher shelves. Skyla looked through scrolls on the floor. "We've been here forever, and we've found nothing." Tag grumbled. "Look at this book," Blaze replied. "It has some interesting things about my family." and about the Owls of Valor in Perugia too. Skyla, Tag, and Claw came over to listen. Since the beginning of time, the Owls of Valor and the FIREHAWKs have worked together, Blaze read. Tag sighed. His heart felt sad at the thought of the Owls of Valor. It was his dream to become one someday and protect Valor Wood. If we can't find a magical object, he thought, I might never become an Owl of Valor. The Owls of Valor protected the first FIREHAWK egg, Blaze continued. Skyla wrinkled her nose. What was the first FIREHAWK egg? She asked. I've never heard of it, Tag added. Blaze read on. All FIREHAWK eggs are magical, but the first FIREHAWK egg is the most magical of them all. After the first FIREHAWK hatched, the eggshell didn't turn to ash. Instead, it repaired itself and became filled with the most powerful magic in the world. But like all magic, this egg could be used for good or for evil. Tag shivered. He knew what terrible things evil magic like the shadow could do. Skyla gasped and pointed to the bottom of the page. Some say that the first egg could open a permanent portal between lands, she read. Tag jumped into the air. This is what we've been looking for, he cried. We could use the egg to open a portal and get home. Claw added. But Blaze shook her head as she read on. The first egg was lost hundreds of years ago. Nobody knows where it is now. Tag put his head in his wings. Blaze patted his shoulder. I'm sorry, she whispered. We'll come back tomorrow and keep reading. I know we'll find a way to open a portal. They walked back to the temple and found the great hall. The tables were piled high with delicious food and drinks. Tag's tummy growled. Feeling hungry? Skyla laughed. They sat with Talia. And Tag ate until he felt like he might burst. When Tag, Skyla, Blaze, and Claw had all finished eating, Talia took them to a large beach hut. You can stay here, she said. For as long as you need to. Good night. The hut was full of snuggly blankets and soft cushions. In the center was a bowl of nuts and fruit. You can never have too many nuts, Skyla said. She grabbed a few and tucked them into her armor. The friends curled up on the cushions. But they were too soft for Tag to sleep on, so he went outside. He gathered some long leaves from a palm tree and made a nest on the beach. As he lay down, he noticed a dark figure sneaking away from their hut. The bright moon suddenly peeked out from behind a cloud. Light shone down onto the figure. Tag gasped. It was Claw! Chapter 3. The Maze. Tag jumped up and chased after Claw. Where is he going? Tag wondered. Claw entered the Golden Temple. Tag quietly followed behind him. Soon, Claw reached the small door and disappeared down the hallway. Tag waited a moment, then followed him. Claw took a lit torch from the wall and used it to light the way. Tag followed behind. He watched as Claw reached the split in the path. But instead of taking the path on the left, which led to the library, Claw turned right. Why is Claw going down the path that Talia said was dangerous? Tag wondered. He was curious what Claw was up to, but he didn't want to go into the tunnel alone. Tag raced back to the hut. He woke Blaze and Skyla and explained where Claw had gone. Blaze shook her head slowly. My mom said that no one is allowed down that path. I know, Tag replied. But what if Claw found out there's a magical object down there? We should search everywhere. Skyla and Blaze exchanged a nervous look. Okay, Blaze finally said. The friends ran back to the tunnel. They quickly reached the entrance to the closed pathway. It was pitch black. I'm not sure this is a good idea, Skyla said. Blaze will keep us safe, Tag said. Blaze didn't look so sure, but she ruffled her feathers to light up the tunnel. Tag took a deep breath, and they headed down the dangerous path. Chapter 4. Lost. Claw? Tag called out. There was no reply. Claw, he called again with a shaky voice. But only his echo replied, Claw. 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 There was a sudden loud scraping noise. What is that? Skyla whispered. Blaze's feathers grew brighter, and Skyla squealed. The walls were moving. Tag turned around, but a new wall blocked the way back to the entrance. That wall wasn't there before. Tag cried. This place is a maze. A magical maze. Blaze yelled. The walls moved left and right. Then a wall moved right in front of Skyla and blocked her behind it. Tag! Skyla cried. Blaze! Tag pressed his wings against the wall, trying to move it. Skyla was trapped on the other side. Blaze! Tag cried. Use your fireballs. Maybe they could blast a hole in the wall. Tag moved back, waiting for a fireball to fly past him, but nothing happened. There was another loud scraping noise. Suddenly, everything went dark. Blaze? Tag said. He turned around. But another wall had appeared behind Tag, blocking him from Blaze. Tag touched the wall. His heart was thumping. Blaze, he called. I can see a path. Blaze shouted through the wall. I'm going to follow it. Maybe it will lead me out of the maze so I can go get help. Okay, Tag replied. He ran to where Skyla was trapped. Skyla, he called through the wall. Do you see a path? I think so, Skyla said. Her voice sounded quiet behind the wall. Follow the path, Tag told her. I'll find another way to reach you. There was a loud scraping noise again. The wall beside Tag moved and revealed a new path. He raced down it. After a while, he stopped for a rest and shouted out to his friends. Blaze! Skyla! Can you hear me? But there was no reply. Why did I make them come down this path with me? Tag thought. I should have listened to Talia. It is too dangerous here. He thought of his friend Coralie, the seal who had been lost in the crystal caverns until Tag, Skyla, and Blaze had rescued her. Tag felt very alone. He put his head in his wings when suddenly scritch. Scratch! Rumble, rumble. He sat up and listened. Something was moving through the maze. Scritch! Scratch! Rumble, rumble. The sound was getting closer. It was too loud to be Skyla or Blaze. Scritch! Scratch! Rumble, rumble. And it was heading right for Tag. Chapter 5. The Monster. Tag flew as fast as he could, swooping this way and that. He could hear something moving behind him, getting closer and closer. He turned his head and saw a large creature. It was furry like a caterpillar, with yellow and green stripes. It had 4 horns on its head, and its long body was so wide that it took up the whole tunnel. It's going to catch me, Tag thought. Then he remembered his gift from Talia. Blaze's mother had given Tag and Skyla each a special gift. Tag's was a bright green liquid that swirled inside a small glass bottle that hung from around his neck. The liquid gave him magical flying powers, but only for a short amount of time. He quickly opened the bottle and let a drop of the magical liquid drip into his beak. Suddenly, his wings began to flap. They flapped faster and faster, so fast he could barely see them. Tag zoomed through the maze and grinned back at the giant caterpillar as it chased after him. After a while, Tag's wings started to slow down. Then he heard a new, louder noise. It sounded like thunder. Tag looked back. The caterpillar was still behind him. But now there was something else chasing the caterpillar. It was a gigantic marble. It's going to squish us both. Tag realized in terror. The caterpillar reached Tag. Jump onto my back, the caterpillar shouted. Tag didn't have time to think. He grabbed the caterpillar's fur, and they raced on as the marble rumbled behind.